I was born in Springfield, Massachusetts. We moved to Waltham when I was 5. I say we, my sister and I, and my father. We lived in Waltham until I joined the Navy, really, just the 4 of us. Father, mother, 2 kids. And my father worked down the street within walking distance of where we lived. So it was a little tight community. He was a paper cutter. He worked in a printing shop. It was a big shop, but he was a paper cutter. No sports. I couldn't say there was anything favorite. I just went there because you had to. That's all. But 1939, uh, the depression was still on. Was hard to get a job, and I was unemployed, living at home, not married, prime suspect for a draft. Now I don't mind walking, but I didn't want to walk from Normandy Beach to Berlin carrying a backpack and slogging through the mud. So I didn't want to join the army. So I joined the Navy. It's that easy. I did boot camp in Newport, Rhode Island. When I graduated, they shipped me to Norfolk, Virginia. I got assigned to the St. Louis. 19. When you join the Navy, you're an apprentice seaman. And then you get to be either a seaman or a fireman. I became a fireman. And you get your fireman second, then fireman first, and then you go to CPO, well, a petty officer. Takes 2-3 years to become a petty officer. So I was a fireman all the time I was on the St. Louis. It's monotonous, really. You get up in the morning about 6 o'clock, eat breakfast, and you do whatever they tell you, whatever it is, doesn't matter. That's the only thing you learn in boot camp that's of any use. Do as you're told and shut up. I was in my bunk when the whole thing started. 7:56 in the morning, just before 8 o'clock, and we'd already had breakfast. That was over. We were in the Navy Yard. You go to the Navy Yard to have something done that the ship's crew can't do. So we were in the yard to repair boiler number 7. Now, I don't know what they did to boiler number 7. I was only a fireman. They don't tell you things you don't need to know, and I didn't need to know that. So anyhow, I heard the guns, the machine gun fire over my head. Then the GQ started. At GQ General Quarters, everybody on board has a specific spot they're supposed to be in. Everybody, from the captain on down to be low man total pole. So I went to my spot. My spot was in boiler number 7 boiler, which is the one they were working on. The yard had finished all the work they needed to do. We had put the boiler back together. And so I was standing in front of the boiler, and my first class water tender, fireman, he says, "Come here." So we followed him. We went to the behind the boiler, up the ladder to the back of the steam drum, and all the baffles from the steam drum was still outside, sitting on the catwalk. So he says, "Get in there, and I'll hand you the baffles." So I got in. He handed me the baffles, and I put them back where they belong. By the time I got out, the other boat, number 8, was running, and you could hear we were getting underway. You could feel the ship rock from getting underway. So by the time I got up, finished putting the boat back together, they had already had water in it and a fire in the firebox. And I got out, and by that time was 12 o'clock. I wasn't on duty anymore. You're so busy, what you have to do, you don't realize how long it took to get out. I didn't see anybody else except the water tender up handing me the baffles because that's all I could see. I was inside the steam drum, but you can't see much. Feel the vibrations. But, but by the time I got topside, we were outer side of the land. Couldn't even see Hawaii at all. The next day, or the day after, I'm not sure, we went back to Pearl Harbor just to refuel. Refueled, and we were only there just long enough to refuel. And we went to San Francisco to get a radar installed. So I didn't see anything. And actually, we were the second ship out. Uh, there was a destroyer who was supposed to get out 8 o'clock, so he beat us. But we were the second ship out. But we got out unscathed, not a mark, not a scratch. Nobody even got scared to death. We just, so they call it lucky. I didn't know that till a couple of years later. Yeah, it changed. Mostly the attitude. Beforehand, there was a war going on, but it was in the Atlantic. We were in the Pacific, a long way off. We didn't worry about torpedoes or anybody shooting at us. That's, we didn't, it wasn't going to happen to us until it did. And then the attitude changed. The tension was there. Peacetime rule book got tossed aside, and it was whole attitude that everybody.
When did you understand that a Japanese midget submarine took a shot at the St. Louis? Was it well after the attack, or did somebody tell you about that earlier?
I didn't know about that until afterwards. I was a fireman. I was the bottom of the list, bottom of the totem pole. Everybody was above me. Everybody could tell me what to do, and I was supposed to do it. I was a low man on a totem pole. Nobody told me anything because I didn't need to know. So they didn't tell me. We went to Alaska, the St. Louis, the Helena, and 3 destroyers. I don't know the names of the destroyers, but anyhow, we went to Alaska to Kodiak, and Kodiak, we went to out the end of the Aleutians. Aleutian Islands, remember, Alaska to Tokyo, to with a Bering Strait. There were 2 little islands at the end of the Aleutian Islands, fairly near Japan, and Japanese had landed on them and taken them over. Not that there was anybody there, wasn't actually no importance at all, but they wanted to let them know that we knew they were there. So we went by them and bombarded them. Nobody answered, nobody shoot back. That end of the Aleutians is it's very foggy almost all the time. We shot at the islands, we couldn't even see what they hit. We just go by radar. Oh, real new. We had the radar installed in San Francisco, but radar is made by Raytheon, which is located at the time in Waltham. I was a couple of miles away. Anyhow, Raytheon installs the radar, but they can't go to sea. They teach you. Well, I don't know. I was involved in it at all, but they try to teach you what you're going to see, but you really can't learn it until you see it itself. So anyhow, we went outside of San Francisco, out in the Pacific, up and down the coast, chasing whatever you saw on the radar. We chase after something and finally get the word down below that they saw a school of dolphins diving, and it showed up on the radar. So we went to, we didn't know what it was, so they went to look, and we chased around the Pacific, chasing dolphins and plucked the seagulls and once in a rain shower. Yeah, December. Yeah, actually, I got there December 23rd. There were 6 of us at this time. We dropped off at Sand Street, the Sand Street barracks. The barracks is mess hall, first floor, second and third floor were barracks with sleeping quarters. Well, the room had 40 bunks in it. We were the first 6 there, and a man came out, and he was chief petty officer, thousands mate, and he says, to my knowledge, I'm the highest ranking man here. There are officers around somewhere, but not in this building. So he says, it's December 23rd. I live in New Jersey. I'm going home for Christmas. He says, you guys can do what you want. I'll see you on the 26th. And turned around and walked off. So 6 of us, we all looked at each other, and I says, I live in Boston. I'm going home too. And I left. 26th, we came back. I didn't get home again until 12 was over.
What was your family's reaction when you walked in the door?
Oh, I didn't even call. I just walked in. Oh yeah, delighted to see me.
When you were on the Iowa during the war, were you in the Pacific all the time, or did you go to the European theater?
Yeah. Well, at first we took FDR to Tehran, and after that we went right through the canal to the Pacific. We spent the rest of the time there.
Tell me about the FDR to Tehran. That must have been quite a secret operation, right?
Oh, I suppose it was. Not for me. Didn't make any difference.
Did you get to meet him?
No. There's 3,500 men and officers on the Iowa. He saw the officers. He saw us, of course, but we didn't get to meet him.
That's a great story. You have any other great stories about your time in the USS Iowa?
Yeah, when we picked up there, we did our shakedown at Chesapeake Bay. Then we went back to Norfolk, and they took most of the ammunition off, most of the oil. They were to lighten the ship. The Iowa draws 34 feet of water, and the Potomac is only 32 feet deep. So you had to lighten the ship a little just to get up to Potomac. We picked him up, went back to Norfolk, put the ammunition, the oil back on, and took off. That's about it. We started, went through the canal. We get well, I suppose you call it a newspaper, but one sheet, maybe 2 news from from the San Francisco Chronicle, most of them. We get that once every other week, maybe. That's the news, all the news we got, we didn't know what was going on. But anyhow, they made a big deal out of a little island in the Pacific. It's down near the equator. The Japanese had occupied it. I don't know who it belongs to. I have no idea. But they made a big deal. They've been bombing it for weeks, and we went through the canal. We went to Millie, bombarded it to get a little practice. Theoretically, it had been subdued because it had been bombed so many times by the enemy. So we went by 16-inch guns. We fired at them. Nothing happened. Turned around, went back 4 or 5 miles closer, and fired again. And they shot back. They hit number one turret, hit the front of the number one turret, scratched the paint. There's 16-inch thick armor plate on the face of the turret. It's kind of hard to dent that. But anyhow, the chips from the 2 windows on the side that stick out for the rangefinder, there was a guy that stuck his head. He wanted to look and see, so he stuck his head out was looking out the window to see what he could see, what was going on. Anyhow, when the Japs on Millie shot back, it hit the front of the turret. It exploded, of course, chipped the paint on the 16-inch armor plate, broke the glass on the rangefinder, and the guy got a chip on his cheek from the glass. That's the only casualties we had. The only one. The Japanese quickly learned that the key to the whole thing is the aircraft carriers. They knew that beforehand. When they went to Pearl at the beginning, they were looking for aircraft carriers. Fortunately, there weren't any. They were out to sea. They missed all of them. At the Battle of Midway, they were after the aircraft carriers. The Iowa, the big battleships, had a lot of massive firepower against aircraft. You got 5-inch guns, you got 40-millimeter cannon, you got 20-millimeter cannon, at least 100 guns, anti-aircraft. So they quickly learned that that's all we were good for, anti-aircraft. So we stayed near aircraft carriers to act as protection. At Lady Gulf, which is in the Philippines, we were between 2 carriers. I don't know, remember the names of the carriers. Anyhow, our smoke watch on the ship gave us a smoke watch up on the mast. There's a little platform higher up above the smokestacks. Somebody's stationed up there called Smoke Watch. He could see the tops of the stacks. And if one of them smoking, he calls down on the phone, tells him, which one's smoking. Anyhow, he's up there. It's a crappy job. You're exposed to the wind and the weather and rain and whatever. And so the lowest man on the totem pole gets that job. Young fireman. In the Battle of Lake Eagle, we had carriers on each side. He's up there. The aircraft carrier. That's the first time we'd heard of kamikazes. The Japanese aircraft would fly right over us and aiming at the carrier. His shift was up. He came down at number 4 fire, and he's all excited. Actually, he was scared more than anything. He came down and he says, they were going right by me. He says, He didn't pay any attention to us. They were after the carrier. But they go right by me. I could hit him with a potato.
That's a great story too. You also went to Tokyo Bay to see the surrender ceremony, but you weren't actually visiting. You weren't there close to it, but you were in Tokyo Bay. What did that mean to you to be there for the surrender ceremony in 1945?
Well, we were all relieved. We heard about what went on at Formosa and the other islands that the Japanese, they were taught from scratch that to die by the emperor was ultimate pinnacle of success or whatever you want to call it. So they didn't worry about dying. And we knew if we had to invade Japan, it would be a long, bloody war. Would be lots of casualties on both sides. We were almost sure we'd get sunk. It was a big relief when Freeman dropped the second bomb. I surrendered.
What did you do after the war? What was your occupation?
I came home, I had to get a job. I went for a walk around my old neighborhood, and there used to be a pumping station, pump water from the river to the for drinking water. The city of Waltham. I knew the kid, his father, was running the place. So I went to see him. He wasn't there, but his father was. His father says, "You were in the Navy down below in the boiler room." I says, "Yeah." He says, "You know how to shovel coal?" "Yeah." He says, "You want a job?" "Yeah." "Good, you're hired." I worked for the city as a fireman for, I think, about 3 years till they shut it down. The Charles River got so polluted they couldn't use the water anymore. So then I went to work for a friend of mine. Well, we were kids together. He came home and he got married. He bought a gas station. I bought a house and we all lived together for a while. I worked at the gas station for 3 years, I think. Then I went to work for a machine shop and everything. The rest of 40 years.
We saw some video of you on the USS Iowa parked in California.
The guy who runs it now, he's no sailor. I want to go see number four room. It's open for the public. So I go down the ladder like I've done 1,000 times before, the same ladder. He was horrified. And I just walked down the ladder like normal. Because he's no sailor. He goes down backwards like you were climbing a ladder for the up your house or something. But you don't do that. Ladders are sloped a little, but they don't go straight. They slope. You just walk down. They look the same. The only difference when I was running it, or when I was working on it, we used bunker C oil. It's thick, black. It's what's left over after they've taken gasoline, the kerosene, diesel fuel, all the good stuff. It's the residue, bunker C. It's thick, gooey. You can't burn it unless you heat it and put it under pressure. But nowadays, they use diesel fuel. So there's fire. You can't burn bunker C. You can put a tray of it, throw a cigarette butt in it, and the cigarette goes out. If you did that to diesel fuel, you'd have a fire.
You mentioned Pearl Harbor. You went back to the 65th commemoration and also the 80th commemoration.
Yeah.
Can you tell us what that experience was like, the 65th first?
Oh, yeah. But there were lots of surviving. Lots of.
Is it Tom Brokaw that wrote Greatest Generation?
Yeah.
What was that speech like?
I remember.
Right. been a while, yeah.
the speech.
And you also went to the 80th commemoration, correct? There
Yeah.
was a couple of survivors there with you.
Remember the redheaded guy, Jack? You got interviewed on the
Oh,
Today Show.
oh,
That's what
oh.
they're talking about.
Yeah. Oh,
Did you enjoy Hawaii then, those two visits?
well, you knew was much of it was going on TV. He had plenty of time to talk to us, but you knew most of it would be cut out. So
There was
Well,
5 or 6 of you.
6 of us.
Yes,
Yeah.
6.
We noticed a recent news story that around Memorial Day, you went to talk to a bunch of students, right?
Cape Cod Academy, where you talked to the kids there.
Oh, yeah.
They were 4th and 5th graders, I read in the newspaper story we saw. Did they know anything about Pearl Harbor?
Yeah. Well, they've been taught. They knew I was coming. So
Okay. Well, how was that?
it was fun. Each kid had a question. And you could see they'd been coached on what to say and all that. They were all eyes, all ears, anxious to get an answer for their little question.
What was one of the questions, just as an example?
One kid asked me, did I wear a gas mask? You're out to sea. You don't have to worry about it. No, I don't think we had any gas masks.
Any other questions that stand out to you?
Remember they asked if you knew what was going on, and
No, you don't. You have no idea. You talk about not knowing where you're going. Most of the time, they don't tell you where you're going. You don't know where you're going. You're on a need to know basis. If you don't need to know, they don't tell you. Most of the time, you don't know where you're going. Half the time, you don't know where you are when you get there. When you get home, you don't know where you've been.
Military life, right?
Yeah, you get to see the world, except you don't know what part of the world you're in to start with.
You know, you're 105 years young now, sir. What moments stand out most to you? You're 105 years on this earth.
It's pretty mundane life.
getting married.
Yeah. Tell me about your family.
Yeah, well, I had a girl, yeah, and we got married, and we have 3 kids.
3 wonderful, darling daughters.
I'm being prompted.
And grandchildren.
Yeah, oh yeah, two grandchildren, 2 great-grandchildren now, a little boy and a little girl.
Congratulations.
Condolences, whichever is appropriate.
Oh, Dad.
Do your grandchildren know that you're a Pearl Harbor survivor?
Oh yeah. But it's just nowadays you see people. Well, my number plate, my car, was PH3. What's that stand for? Pearl Harbor. Oh, what's Pearl Harbor? They don't. A lot of people, the younger generation, they don't know where Pearl Harbor is. Have no idea. Doesn't mean anything to them. You expect that 80 years ago.
What are the lessons of Pearl Harbor? What do you tell people like school groups and all that, or people you spoke to? What are the lessons of Pearl Harbor?
It was the greatest generation. The whole group, individually, doesn't really matter. It's like combined effort. What I did at the time was only a little piece. I was no hero. A woman looked at me and I got in my car, and she saw the number plate. She said, "Oh, you're a Pearl Harbor." I said, "Yeah." She is, "How brave." I wasn't brave. I was there. I was stuck. I just did what I was told. Did my job. That's all the greatest generation did. They did what they were told. That's it.
What do you think about being the oldest living Pearl Harbor survivor as far as we know?
Not much.
Oh, Dad.
It's just luck of the draw.
Well, we've enjoyed this conversation, Mr. Johnson, and we really appreciate your time. We wish you the best. And we did see that video of that singing happy birthday to you. Tell me about that moment, because that was kind of a really fun thing. Your last birthday, a lot of firefighters and other officials.
I certainly didn't expect that. I thought we were just going for
Cake and ice
a little
cream.
cake and ice cream, and that's it. I hope they had no fire. And I asked at that, because the fire department was there. But the ladder truck and the flag on the end of the ladder truck, fireman line, the entrance to the senior center, there were firemen all over the place and police all over the place. Everybody was there.
That sounds like fun. Did they have 105 candles on your cake?
No, fortunately.
Being a great generation member, thank you very much, sir.
Yeah. Well,
Thank you, guys.
As we say in Hawaii, aloha.
yeah. Yeah. Laura.